Your geraniums are not finished for the year, not even close. They have weeks of color left in them. And one simple move this July is all it takes to buy you a fresh flush of blooms right through to the first frost. Before I get into it, if you want a garden that actually rewards the work, subscribe and stay with me. It genuinely helps. So picture the pot on your patio right now, in the middle of July. Tall, leggy, stretched up toward the light with a couple of tired flowers clinging to the very tips, and underneath them, bare stalks. Nothing. Just long, naked stems where all the color used to be. And you look at it and think, well, that is that. It has had its run. It hasn't. That plant is completely fixable today, in a matter of minutes. I mean that. Here is what I already know about you, because I have been exactly where you are. You have been out there doing everything right. Every few days you have gone round with your fingers or your snips, snapping off every spent, browned flower head the moment it fades. Faithful about it. And the plant has still stalled. It has still stretched. Be honest. You have been out there deadheading every few days, and the plant still looks stretched and tired, hasn't it? So let me tell you why. Because it is not your fault, and it is not the plant giving up. These are pelargoniums. We all call them geraniums, and I will too, but that is what they really are. And by high summer, a pelargonium has one strong instinct. It pours its energy into growing long, soft stem, reaching, climbing, stretching upward, not into setting new buds. All that lovely warm weather and long daylight, and the plant spends it on green, on stem and leaf, instead of on flower. Now deadheading. Deadheading is good. Keep doing it. But you have to be honest about what it actually does, because deadheading only tidies the top. That is all. You are removing the spent heads so the plant does not waste effort setting seed. And yes, that helps a little. But snapping off a dead flower never touches the real problem. It never touches the leggy, spent growth underneath. Those long, bare stalks that are quietly draining the whole plant. You are neatening the tips while the engine of the thing keeps stretching and thinning out below. And that is the trap. If deadheading is the only thing you ever do, the plant just coasts. It stretches a bit more, throws a flower or two right at the top, and starts to fade on you early, genuinely early, while it still has months of good, warm, growing weather left in the season. Months. That is the part that stings. It is not running out of time. It is running out of the right kind of growth, and no amount of snapping off dead heads is going to fix that. So you can see the gap opening up here. You have been doing the one job you were told to do, doing it well, and it was never the whole job. It was maybe a third of it. The tidy up, not the fix. Which brings us to the real question, the one that actually matters in July. If snapping off the dead heads is not enough, and it clearly isn't, you have the leggy pot in front of you to prove it, then what is? What is the actual midsummer move that almost every single gardener skips right at the moment it would do the most good? Because there is one. There is a move that turns a leggy, stalled, half-bare geranium back into a plant absolutely covered in flower. And it is not deadheading. It is something that, honestly, feels almost too bold to do to a plant in July. It is a proper cutback, not a gentle trim, not a snip here and there to tidy the top, a real cut. And yes, doing it in July, on a plant that still has a flower or two clinging on at the tips, feels wrong the first time. Trust me, it isn't. Here is exactly what you do. Take each leggy stem, the ones stretched out with bare stalk underneath and hardly anything on them, and cut it back hard, by 1/3 to 1/2 of its length. Don't be shy about it, and where you make the cut matters more than how much you take. So look for a healthy leaf joint, or better still, a pair of little new shoots low down on the stem, and cut just above that. Right above it. That's the whole aim of every single cut. Because of what sits just below. Every leaf joint, every node, has dormant buds waiting there, doing nothing while the plant pours all its energy up into that long, soft stem. The moment you cut just above the node, you take that energy away from the tip and hand it straight to those sleeping buds. They wake up, and one bare, leggy stem breaks into 2, 3, sometimes 4 short, bushy shoots, every one of them ready to carry flower. That is the trick. You are not losing the plant. You are multiplying it. Now, why July, and why I keep pushing you to do it now? Cut today, and there are still plenty of warm, growing weeks ahead. Enough for that fresh regrowth to bud up and actually bloom before the season turns. The plant has the heat and the light it needs to pay you back. Wait until August, and you have missed it. The cut still works, the buds still wake, but there aren't enough warm weeks left for that new growth to flower. So you end up with a bushier, greener plant going into autumn and no second flush of color to show for it. Same cut, wrong month, no flowers. July is the window. That is the honest reason it matters. Before we go on, tell me in the comments where your geraniums are growing, beds, window boxes, or patio pots, and which color you are fighting to keep going this summer. I read them. And if this is the honest, plant-specific advice you have been after, take a second to subscribe. Then let's finish the job. Now, if the idea of cutting into a flowering plant still makes you nervous, here is how to take the fear out of it. You don't have to do the whole pot in one go. Do a few stems at a time, spread over a week or two. That way the pot always has something in bloom while the cut stems quietly get on with recovering underneath. By the time the last few are done, the first ones are already breaking into new shoots. You never have to look at a bare pot. And while you are in there, one small thing with your fingers that makes a real difference. As you work, pinch out the soft green growing tips. Just nip them off between finger and thumb. That stops the shoot running straight up again and forces it to branch instead, so every tip you pinch turns into 2. More branches, more shoots, more flower. It costs you nothing and it doubles the reward. So that is the cut. Leggy stems taken back by 1/3 to 1/2, always just above a leaf joint. The soft tips pinched to force branching, done a handful at a time so you never lose the color. Do that this week and you have set the whole thing in motion. But the cut is only half the job. It wakes the buds, yes. Whether those buds actually swell and open is decided by something else entirely. Because here is the part almost no one tells you. The cut wakes the buds, but the feed decides whether they ever open. And if you reach for the wrong bottle now, the exact leggy growth you just cut off comes straight back instead of flowers. The wrong bottle undoes everything you just did. Reach for the wrong feed after that cutback, and you hand the plant exactly what it does not need, and all that fresh growth you were hoping for comes back as soft green leaf and long stems, the very legginess you cut away. Bare stalks underneath, and no flowers on top. So this is the feed that decides it, and it comes down to one nutrient. Here is the honest line between the 2 feeds most people have in the shed. A high-nitrogen general feed, the kind of thing you throw down to green up a tired lawn, does one job brilliantly. It pushes leaf. It pushes soft, fast, sappy growth. On a lawn, that is what you want. On a geranium in July, it is the last thing you want, because a high nitrogen feed gives you leaf, not flowers. You would be feeding the plant to do the exact thing you just spent 10 minutes cutting off. More stem, more leaf, more stretch. That is not a step forward. That is a step straight back into leggy. So what actually pays for flowers? Potassium. Not nitrogen, not the green stuff, potassium. It is the nutrient that funds buds and blooms instead of leaf, and it is the whole reason your cutback turns into color rather than more of the same. The cut wakes the buds. Potassium is what tells them to open. Get that one switch right, and everything you did with the secateurs finally cashes in. Now the good news is, you almost certainly already own the right bottle, and it is not sitting in the flower section. It is your tomato feed. A high-potash tomato feed is close to perfect for this, because it is built for a plant whose whole purpose is fruit and flower, not foliage. Mix it to the label rate, nothing clever, nothing stronger. Roughly a good splash to a full watering can. That is the strength geraniums are happy with, and going heavier does not buy you more flowers. It just risks the roots. Then keep it up. Feed every week to 2 weeks through the rest of summer, right through as the new shoots break, bud, and start to open. This is not a one-off rescue. It is a steady drip of the one thing the plant needs to keep pushing bloom after bloom, so you stay on it while the warm weather lasts. One small safety step, and it matters. Always water that feed into already damp compost, never into a bone-dry pot. A geranium that has baked in the sun all day has thirsty, stressed roots, and pouring concentrated feed onto dry compost can scorch them. So if the pot is dry, water it plainly first, let it drink, then come back with the feed. Damp compost, then feed. That is all it takes to keep it safe. And honestly, that is the whole trick, start to finish. Cut back the tired, leggy growth to wake the buds. Then feed for buds instead of leaf. 2 moves, a few minutes each, and that is the entire midsummer job. Nothing you snap off, nothing you buy special. Just the cut, then the potash. Give it 2 or 3 weeks, and you will see it happen. Those bare stalks you were staring at, embarrassed, start filling in, dense with fresh shoots, and those shoots come covered in flower. Real color, on your patio pots and your window boxes, at the exact point in the year when everyone else's geraniums have gone tall and tired and quietly given up. You will be watching bees work fresh blooms while the neighbors are watching bare stems. That is the second flush, and once it starts, it just keeps going. Color right through to the first frost. So do not save this for the weekend. The plant is losing warm, growing days right now, and every day you wait is a day of season you cannot get back. So go out today, make the cut, and start the feed. It really is that simple. Walk out there this afternoon. Cut them back hard, above the leaf joints. Start the tomato feed on damp compost. Then step back and leave the plant to it. Because it was never finished. It was waiting on you. Give it these 2 things now, and it will hand you a whole second summer of color.